Hi there, Wally here. In today's video, I'm going to introduce you to this amazing VS Code extension called Remote SSH, which will allow you to do amazing things totally remote. But before we move it on, if you believe this video is bringing some valid information to you and you are not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button now and also hit the bell and allow the notifications. Then you'll be the first one to know once I push a new video. Take your coffee or your preferred beverage, have a seat, and let's enjoy the video. Here we are with the VS Code. Basically, this is the standard screen. Once you open your VS Code, you have the Explorer, Search, Source Control, Debug, and also Extension. So if you take a look, we have no extension. There is this area with extension installed, and this is 0. So let's looking for one specific extension. The name is Remote SSH. This is the one. This is by Microsoft. VS Code is from Microsoft. Then we can just click here and hit install. And right now, this is installed. Wally, what changed? You can see this button over here, Remote Explorer. So we can click on this page and there you go. There is nothing at this moment. We can just refresh here and notice is appearing. So let's take a look on this, how this works. If you would like to, you can definitely read this page, see all the example, all the explanation. This is definitely something valid, okay? But let me show the basic configuration of this amazing extension. In the Remote Explorer, we can just take a look on the list of servers. There is no server. You can see that we have a gear and a plus sign. So let's click on the plus sign. Let's create a new remote. We can put the credential that we're going to use. And then in this case, I'm going to use this IP address. And here we have VS Code asking, hey, where should I save those configuration files or those entries? By default, we are going to use this SSH config file. Fear not, because if this file is not around, the system is going to create this for us, okay? So let me pick this file. And then we can see the host was added. We can open the configuration file. We can connect. We will not do this right now. Let me just click on this refresh button. And now we can see a new entry for that specific server. One detail here, very important. You can see the arrow. The arrow is going to connect to that server using this current window. However, there is this second icon, connect in a new window. What this guy is going to do is, this is going to open a second instance of VS Code connecting to that server as well, okay? Let's click on the first one. And you can see, hey, Wally, what is the password for that user? Let's type the password. Let's hit enter. Then VS Code is going to do all the connection. Let me close this one. And here at the right bottom side, you can see this machine is connected. Or like my machine is connected to that server, okay? If we click on this icon, Remote Explorer, now I can see that I'm connected with that server. And this is great, this is amazing. What is the deal now? What can I do? So let's go to Explorer, just to see the files. And from this place, I can clone a repository, I can open a folder. Keep in mind that this open folder is gonna open the folder in the remote server, not in the local server. If you want to see the local files, you can click on show local, but the goal here is to be working on the remote machine. So in this machine, I have two directories that I created previously. One is the new project and the second one is project 2. So let me pick the new one. Hit OK. And check this out. Now I have the files. This file I created in that specific server. You can see at the bottom that I have this terminal. Let me close this one. Let me show you a trick here. You can do a right click and open in integrated terminal. And this terminal will be in the remote server. So if we take a look, this is server.king.lab. This is the remote machine. This is not my local machine. Another nice thing here, I can just hit on plus. This is gonna open a second terminal. If you take a look, we have the first and we have the second terminal. See, and they are different. Yet in this one, I can just split here. I can create a third terminal that will be splitting with this one. And then if you see, we can just play with those terminals, okay? One more trick, this is nice. You can move this to an editor area. So we have this terminal that we can do anything that we wish. So for instance, the one that C, I'm just running the top command. And then I can keep this one just monitoring or executing one command while I'm doing some change in the code. Maybe I can use this terminal just to restart some process. And then I can use this one to check the logs, for instance. Something like var log message pipe grep audit. All the time when I'm doing debugging, I like to put some audit so I don't have to be checking the whole log. I can just grab the information I'm looking for. And from here, I can do a systemctl restart and the process. So if I'm working with something related to HTTPD, definitely this is going to be the process. Can be foreman, can be sidekick, can be whatever, okay? So this is definitely a nice thing. Wally, can I move this back? Definitely yes. I can click, just drag and drop, see? And then now I have that screen here once again. So definitely this is a nice thing. If you like to close, no problem, you can just exit. Then you have the information that exit was with code 130, but that's okay. Okay, all the change that we are doing on the remote server. And if we come back over here, we can see that we are connected in this server on this folder, okay? Let me show you another thing. As I mentioned before, I have this project and I create a new folder, which means another project. So I can do something like this. Let me connect one more time using the same screen. Open folder, and I can connect to my second folder, project 2. And now I'm seeing the content of the second folder, okay? Look at that. If we take a look on this place now, we have the recent folders. Anytime that you connect to a server and you open that folder will be here in your recent. So you don't need to be opening that folder by the browser all the time. What you can do is just pick this one. Remember, before I mentioned, if I click on this one, I will be using this current window. If I use this one, I'm going to be opening a new window, okay? Let's say that for any reason, I would like to be with both windows open together at the same time. So I have this one on my project 2. What I can do is click on this and check what will happen. Now I'm connected. Let me close some screens here. I'm connected. You can see the IP is the same at the bottom. However, if we take a look on the folder, let me close this welcome. This is file from project 2. And this is from the first project or project 1. So we are connected to the same server, but now I'm just using different folders. I'm consuming content from different folders, okay? Great, let me close this one. Let me just be working with one here. We saw in previous videos how to work with Git. So if we click on source control, look at that. I have no repository here. This is just a directory that I created locally. But let's suppose I would like to clone a repository. So let me do this. I'm not going to clone right now because this is not the main scope of this video. But let's do this right now. We are in the root directory and connected as root on this server. So what I'm gonna do is git clone this repository. So now we can see that we have this video demo. Wally, now that I have that repository, that Git repository, how can I connect to that folder? You can click over here. No need to connect once again. You can go to your file and open directory. Let me do this right now. File, open folder. And then this is going to show you all the folders that you have in that remote server. So we can see right now the video demo. Let's click over there. Okay. And there you go. Now we have the structure of that repository. We are using this repository for video purpose. But right now, if we click on Git, because this is coming from Git, look at that. We have the brain here. The brain is main. We can definitely create a new branch. Test for video. Then we have now a second branch on that specific server, and there you go. So definitely this is a complementation. You don't need multiple terminals to do the job in a remote server. What you can do is just enable this plugin. This plugin is gonna point to that specific server. You can do all your job. Like this client, this VScode client is gonna be connected to that server. You have access to the file system. You can browse on that specific file system. You can change the files. You can update some configuration. And from here, you also can combine this with Git. Now you have the branch, you know all the process already. So if you're not familiar, because this is the first video that you are watching, feel free to come back and look on the cards that we have here. This is going to show you the whole process since the beginning, how to manage your files, your repositories on Git. But again, this video is specifically for Remote SSH extension on VS Code. All right, let me close this one. Let me show one more thing, because this is one machine that we have. This is one satellite/foreman server that we have. From here, I would like to open a terminal to this one. This is the folder. If I would like to run the code from here, I can. If I need multiple terminals, I can. I can have many of them. And then I can spin up different process on each of them. No big deal. And let's say that I have another machine that I would like to connect. How should I proceed? If I refresh here, there is nothing, okay? I can click on plus. And now let's suppose that the user will not be root, will be Waldurio. Then I can paste this ID. This is gonna be in the same configuration file. I'm not going to open yet. Let me refresh the button here. And then look at that. Now we have a second entry. I can click on this one. But again, if I click on this, I'm gonna lose the connection that I have at this moment. I would like to open this in a new window. So this is gonna ask the password for Waldurio. We type the password. And then let me close the welcome, and we can see that we are connected. So if we click here, now I can see that this terminal is connected to this one, okay? Same idea, same process. Let me open the folder. What is the folder? This one on that specific machine. And then all the time that you open for the first time, VS Code is gonna ask you, hey, do you trust the author of those files? If yes, you can click here. If you don't trust for any reason, you can say no, but eventually this is gonna block some features that you have on your VS Code, okay? Feel free to take a look on the docs and see and learn more. But yeah, if you like to use all the features that we have available in VS Code, yes, I trust the author. Let me close the welcome again. And once again, I'm here right now just checking the content of my directory. Okay. Amazing. Let me show one more thing. Let's click here. I just click on this button, refresh, and then you saw that a new arrow. Let me expand this one, and this is the folder. Remember the recent folders? Now we have this one. If I would like to connect, I can just click over here. And this is gonna open. This is gonna connect, and it's gonna open through that specific folder. So I don't have to be opening the folder and looking for all the time. All right, now let's take a look on the configuration file. How can I check that? on the top of SSH, there is this gear. Let's click on the gear. Let's pick the first one, .ssh/config. And then we can see the information. Like basically, this is a description. In general or by default is going to be the same as the host name. The host name is the name that we are going to connect via SSH with the external one. User is the username that will be used to connect with that machine. And there are many other configurations. This is not a VS Code configuration. This is a SSH configuration. If you like to see some additional configuration about SSH config, you can just type man-k SSH. And let's take a look. SSH_config is the guy that we're talking about. And SSH_config. And here you can see all the options that are available for this configuration file. This is definitely good, amazing. I recommend you to take a look on this. So if we search by host, we have the host entry. Host name is this one. Same host name that we have here. We have the user and then the description for this one. So basically you can, and host is on the top. So let's take a look. So basically you can apply any configuration from this manual page on this configuration file. Okay, anything that will work better for you, then definitely you can do here. That's amazing, Waldiro. Great. One question that I got when I was doing this test was, hey, how can I change the IP or put some additional description here? So let me show you one thing. As I mentioned before, this is just a description, and we should be able to do something like this. Such server. Then I can save this file, I can refresh, and look at that, this is weird. So I was checking on VS Code, specifically this plugin repository, and one thing that happened was a few months ago, the SSH changed. So SSH used to accept some additional fields like space on the host flag, but then they changed it. They are not accepting this one anymore. Even if you put this one between double quotes, that is an invalid configuration. And you can see this one here, but when we try to connect, see, we are not able to connect. So let me show how you can do that right now. If you remove all these spaces, let's put underline over there. Now I have this one. Let's try to connect one more time. It is asking the password. And now we are connected. So this is one way that we have. It is ugly, I know, I'm sorry about that, but this is one way. Like if you are not too familiar with the name of the servers that you have or that you are working with, and you like to put some descriptions, just keep in mind space is not accepted anymore, and VS Code is not doing the cross check. Like, hey, if you try to put something with space, it's gonna fail. I submitted a request for enhancement to them, just asking to do this kind of improvement. But right now, this is the workaround that you can do. Okay, so definitely you can keep something like this. Node server. Save, and then you have things like that. So if we try to connect, we can, and now we have a description attached to the name. So this is pretty useful as well. Okay, Waldiro, let me close this. And this machine is still connected. How should I proceed to disconnect from that machine? There are different ways to disconnect. You can click over here and you can close remote connection. This is one way. So let's do this. And now we are disconnected. You can also do by the menu, or there is one more. Let me use this window. You can click on File and close Remote Connection. Those are the ways that we have at this moment to disconnect from the server that we are already connected, okay? And to finish this topic, let me show one more thing. For an extension, now you can see that we have those extensions. Some of them are dependencies of the first one. You can click over here and extension settings. This is gonna show the extension settings for that specific extension. So this is another additional configuration that you can be playing. In general, all the plugins working like the same. Like if you like to do some general configuration, definitely you can access this page, the extension. You can click on top of the extension and you can apply the configuration that you are looking for or that you like to change for that specific extension, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. Remote SSH is indeed an amazing extension, very powerful, helpful, and one that will increase a lot your productivity. Feel free to share with your friends who are already working with VScode. Maybe they are not familiar with this specific extension, and also with those ones who are starting with VScode right now. I believe they will enjoy. I will see you in the next video.